up, HBCU family? It's your girl Destiny Kerr, a senior public health major hailing from the Show Me State herself. Currently in attendance at the illustrious Xavier University of Louisiana, the top sixth HBCU. Today we have here an HBCU alum himself who's been paving the way for his community, baby. Not only did he attend NCAT, but is the first, I said it, the first HBCU host in the nation. Please help me welcome Mr. CDK on the mic, baby. How we doing? How we feeling?
Amazing, amazing. I love that intro. The first ever. Don't ever forget
Period.
it.
The first. The first. Yes, but it's so good to have you here. How are we feeling today? I know it's been cold. Not sure where you're at.
I'm in the Carolinas right now. It's quarter 1, so right now this is a
Mhm.
lot of planning. I've been in meetings all day. Quarter 2 is when I really start getting active. My first peak month is April, but quarter 1 is a lot of
Okay.
meetings, traveling, meeting folks, shaking hands, and still sports season for me.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about who you are.
So I am CDK on the mic, as you said before, the first ever #1 HBCU host, radio personality at 102 Jams and DTLR Radio. I started off with them while I was on the DTLR HBCU tour, and that's where it got kicked off at Nova State. Then the tour ended off, and I ended up getting my own show on the platform. From there, I started hosting for the Greensboro Swarm and the NBA. So I also host for the Charlotte Hornets from time to time. I also have my own book. I'm a published author. Um, on top of that, we do everything else: event hosting, concerts. I produce concerts, and I'm Soldier Boy's tour host. So I grew up with him, listening to him. Not actually grew up
Mhm.
with him because he's much older than me, but that's my guy. And from there, I just kind of became a media mogul. That's what I like to call myself.
Okay. I know that's right. So, real quick, can you tell us what the HBCU tour is? I know some of us know about it, but we don't know about it.
Got you. So there's like, let me break this down because there's like multiple HBCU tours, right? Then there's the
Mm-hmm.
actual company. The actual
Mm-hmm.
company HBCU tours who I partner with to do these events like the HBCU cruise, which I'm sure we'll get into. The
Okay.
HBCU Met Gala. We have the HBCU Festival that's in June, and we also have the NC Late Night Music Fest, which is the big concert that I produced with the City Girls, Young Nudie, G Herbo, Rich Homie Quan, and Cali, which was last year's lineup. And this year's lineup, I can't release any names yet, but just know this year is going to be better than last year. And
Y'all
last year we
coming
did
home?
10,000 people. Oh yeah, we coming hard for sure.
I know that's right. So let's take it. We're gonna rewind all the way back. So, what made you choose North Carolina A&T as your HBCU?
So I originally started off in band, right? I was gonna go to college for music education before I got into mass
Okay.
communication, and I was in band my freshman year. I completed the season, but I was like, I like band, but I do not love this. Like the band,
Hmm.
I like it. It's just that the time, the dedication, I just could not put it in. So I played 10 years before I got to A&T. I played an instrument, the euphonium. It's tattooed on my arm. You can't see it, but it's there. And I have music tattoos all over my chest, arms, whatever. So
Hmm.
I originally came to A&T for the band, and then over
Mm.
time I learned my path was more so communications.
Okay. So, walk us through your freshman year. Like, what all kind of happened? 'Cause I know you said band, so let's dive a little deeper.
My freshman year was a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I knew what to expect going to HBCU. My band director went to A&T. The reason why I ended up choosing that too was because we went to Aggie Eagle my junior year, which was in 2016. Aggie Eagle Classic, the big rivalry game. I went with
Mm-hmm.
me and my friends. We got on my mom's van. We hopped up there. We pushed it up to Durham because I'm from Raleigh, which is like 45 minutes or so. And we saw the game. So my freshman year at band, or just A&T in general, it really was just band. We practiced from like 4 to 9, 4 to 10 every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I still did my events on the side. So I
Mm.
got my start at CDK on the mic the summer before I got to college.
Okay.
And I was hosting all the parties. Everybody knew me for real. I was getting a little trouble on social media. I was, you know what I'm saying, stirring up the pot a little bit. And I had motion though. I had motion, and that's kind of where it
Right.
came from. And I eventually, after the band semester was over in the spring, is when I really started popping off at CDK on the mic.
Okay. So, how was your sophomore year?
Okay, my sophomore year was much different. My sophomore year was really my freshman year because I was
Mm-hmm.
outside. So my sophomore year is when I got into. I had my internship at the radio station at 102 Jams. Or was that my junior year? So long ago, Lord knows I don't remember. But either way, my sophomore year was the year that I kind of started to my elevation seriously. I started with Fresh Empire. That's what it was. In December of 2018, I started with Fresh Empire, and then going into 2019, yeah, is when I started with 102 Jams on May 5th. Yeah, that's when I got that
Mhm,
internship, and that's kind of where I started to get into my entertainment career as a whole.
mhm. Okay, okay. So like doing that, so you said you was in band. So did you switch then to like a mass comm major and then started, doing stuff in mass comm?
No, no, no. So I knew that band wasn't gonna be for me before I even got
Mhm,
there. Like my summer once band camp and all that, yeah. So like when I applied, because you had to do like major scales and all that, and I ain't
mhm.
gonna lie, I was trashing band. Like I'm not gonna lie, anybody that know for real, they know. Like I was not him. So I had already had applied as a mass comm student, and
Mhm.
I was taking the classes, but I mean, because I did like that in high school too. I did like production stuff, but I was always just smiling doing the school news and whatever. I didn't think it was gonna be this. So I had already
Okay.
knew an advanced band won't go be for real.
Okay. Okay. So we done hit freshman year, sophomore year. So what about that junior year?
Okay, so junior year is one of my favorite years because junior year was the year I became the number one HBCU host in 2020. Was that my senior year? Lord have mercy. All these years is running together. I remember I became the number one HBCU host in 2020. Okay, so it was
Mhm.
my junior year. It was my junior year. But that was when COVID had started. Yeah, because my senior year, we was in
Mm.
COVID. All right, there we go. So
Okay. So
it's
wait,
pieced
because
together.
so when you dive deep into this, because I need to know, it's COVID, and you became number
Yes.
one. So how did this come about?
Okay, boom. So HBCU Buzz put out a thing on January 26th. I remember these dates because I was at somebody's birthday party and people was tagging me. I'm like, bro, why my phone blowing up? So I seen they tagging me in this post, left the party. Didn't say bye to nobody. I was in hibernation mode because this was right when um I just kind of felt stagnant a little bit. And people were
Mm-hmm.
tagging me in the post, tagging me in the post. And it didn't happen until March. I want to say first is when the actual poll came out. So then
Mm-hmm.
I knew this could change the whole trajectory of where my career was gonna go. Now, by the time
Mm-hmm.
we got to March, we knew around like March 13th is when COVID like actually got everything shut down.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So over the nobody's doing anything but being in the house. So that's when the people started getting on their phones and they started doing the voting. I got like 150,000 votes. You could vote for 30 days straight for every hour on the hour. I had group meets. I had celebrities co-signing me. I had letters written up to every HGA and SUAB to send out as soon as I won to get booked for events when this fall semester came back in because it was around April and the year type of thing.
Hey,
So
sir.
I wasn't playing. I was not playing about that. And I'm still cool with a lot of people that I ran against.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up. Shout out to you. Congratulations on that because
Thank
not
you.
many people can say they did that. But I heard that word hibernation. So, sometimes the
Yeah.
hibernation and isolation be the best.
Yes,
So,
it
we're the
do.
number one host. Let's go into senior year.
Senior year is when well, of course it was COVID, so it wasn't really much. But that's when I
Mm-hmm.
got hired by Warner Music Group to become a college marketing rep. That might have been the end of my junior year, but it was around that same time. And at the
Mm-hmm.
time, because we are in the pandemic and I couldn't be outside and make money, I had to go and work at the YMCA. At the YMCA, I'm making $9.60.
Mm-hmm.
Not really cutting it, but I had bills to pay, so I had to do what I had to do.
Right.
And I won't finna be in an office job, so I had to go work with some kids,
Mm-hmm.
jump around, do whatever. And at this time, I was working part time at Warner, virtually to put together college events. Like eventually, my senior year, I was able to put together a meet and greet with Callie where we did pizza. We had her come play her album at A&T for free. It was a free event for the students, and they just came through. We had like 100
Mm-hmm.
students. She did like a meet and greet, and I also booked monologue for Aggie Fest. And I wasn't even in no position or
Okay.
anything like that. I was just, you know what I'm saying, just trying to help out my HBCU. So that was when I kind of started making the connections with the celebrities and the
Mm-hmm.
HBCU community, also myself, switching into that celebrity host role.
Okay, okay. That's what's up. I love it. Networking connections, baby. I love it. So we're done with senior year. We've graduated. We've done everything with Warner, YMCA. Shout out to the kids. What happened next? So like, how do we get to like really being in position? Because I see you now, and shout out to you
Mhm.
because you in position, baby. So how did that come all about?
So yeah, I did a fifth year too. So that's when the whole Nick Cannon thing happened. My fifth year is when the whole it was
Nick, what
September.
what the Cannon thing?
Oh yeah. So Nick Cannon paid my tuition in full. I mean, Nick Cannon, shout out to him because I had went to this is important. So my 5th year, I had went to New York for advertisement week. At
Okay.
advertisement week, my guy Jonathan had sent me out there to do content with my brother Malik. And we went
Mhm.
out there, and I knew the show was being taped. We was on the second episode, so that's when Nick Cannon did the whole tuition thing. Was the second episode, so that was, but I was virtual. I couldn't make it in person. So,
Mhm.
I call up the producer and I say, "Hey, me and my brother gonna be in the city of New York. Is there any way I can come by and just say thank you to Nick?" I wasn't trying to get on the show, nothing. I was just trying to just swing by, say, "Hey, thank you," shake your hand in person, dip.
Mhm.
It was like, "Yeah, pull up." So I pull up, and they write me in the episode. And I'm like, oh, so I'm like TV ready. So like they put me on the actual show again in
Mhm.
person this time. So I met Nick Cannon in person. I got to shake his hand, got to say thank you, and then me and my brother, of course, we took pictures while we were there. And that
Mhm.
was when that's when that happened. So I went through a lot of trials and tribulations when it came to the college stuff. But once I got
Mhm.
removed from that, and it got to the point where I was trying to wing off, it was a point in time where I was like low key running from this HBCU stuff. Like I had did a
Mhm.
lot. I did the band. I had been the number one HBCU host. I did school for a minute. I was ready to just be done with that. Um,
Mhm.
but it came to a time where I had the DTLRs, the HBCU heroes, the HBCU posts. Like I was working with all these platforms while I was still
Mhm.
trying to find my way in entertainment on an adult level. So
Mhm.
how we got here was kind of like just freelancing, doing my own
Mhm.
events and providing value there. So when I switched over to the more celebrity host role and I started producing these shows and putting other younger groups in the positions to win, because I knew with me going to a HBCU, what that did for me, I
Mhm.
saw what it could do for others. So I started
Mhm.
putting younger folks in position to win. Just because I mean I feel like it was time for me to elevate to something new. Um, and now I just yeah, like I said, I freelance and I do pretty well for myself. Being able to not really have a job and just live off
Mhm.
speaking on the microphone. So it's been pretty.
Yeah.
Not even just live, yeah, not yeah. I live off of it. You know what I'm saying? Like real life
Uh-huh.
living, like, traveling, all of that.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's great. Well, congratulations. I'm gonna give you your props because that's amazing. So let me know this because CDK the Mike, the name didn't come from nowhere. So how did you get that
Mhm.
name?
So growing up, I never had a nickname. I always had like my mom was like, nah, y'all not finna call him Chris. Y'all not finna
Mm-hmm.
call him CJ. None of that. So when I got to high school, I was trying to find something that stuck. I had Pretty Boy Fly for a minute. That was so corny. I don't know what that came from. Then I was just like, yo, my initials, my Instagram name was C.D.K_. And
Mm-hmm.
this is before the On the Mic came about. So my senior year, that's on all the back of my shirts, my Instagram handle and all of that. And then when I got to the summer before I went to college, it was all the graduation parties. And everybody
Mm-hmm.
was just, I was always at everybody's stuff because, like, growing up, I wasn't allowed to, like, really go party and do all the extra stuff. So when the graduation season came around, I was at everybody graduation party, turned up, always talking, just hype. And eventually somebody was like, bro, you need to get on the mic. You need to host these parties. So I did it as a joke one time. And from there, this girl had hired me for her birthday party. And it was at a club. And I had brought
Mm-hmm.
everybody out. It was a Wednesday night. It was a free party. It was like 300-400 people there on a Wednesday. Um, not no promo team, just me and her for her birthday. So that packed out. And then one of the college promoters saw me, which was a team named Juice Crew, and they picked me up and was like, "Hey, you're gonna be our younger representation for these events moving into the fall semester." My
Mm-hmm.
first event in college, we did 1,200 to 1,500 people, and I'm don't know nothing about hosting. You know what I'm saying? So we hit a
Yeah.
thousand people off the rip at the band practice. I used to run, go to my room. By the time people got back to their room, I was already at the party. Like I was already showered, changed, and I was out of there. I was out of there. I was at the moves. And as a freshman in band, you're not supposed to party. I did not care. I got in trouble all the time for that. Did not care. I would do it all over again.
Yeah, you was late. Your freshman year, I ain't gonna lie, like you making me reminisce about my freshman year because my freshman year I was turned. You couldn't tell me nothing. I
I was
was
outside.
2 hours old, man. What? That was life. That was life back then. Ooh. So, what would you say now to somebody who is trying to get in that realm of becoming, whether it's an HBCU host, a creative? What would you tell them?
I would kind of tell them to find your own lane and just do it. Like when I say just do it, like not even just like being cliche, but literally like a lot of students that I talk to that are younger now, they're stuck on making whatever perfect, that the thing perfect. And it's like it's never gonna be that. You're gonna have hiccups, you're gonna have bumps, you're going to have to try new things all the time. That's just what comes with this, and that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Just do that. But I think a lot of the times people just be so focused on like what they look like or how they sound and all these other things like podcasting. I started and stopped my podcast 3 times. Me and my guy
Mhm.
Horatio, somebody I marched in the band with my freshman year. He's a year older than me, and we had been knowing each other for maybe like 4 years before we actually started our podcast the first time. And it
Mhm.
took outsiders that we didn't even really know like that. Like we knew them on some cool stuff, but like not on a personal level that brought us together and was like, no, y'all need to do a podcast. Started
Mhm.
it, was filming it, didn't do the numbers we wanted it to. We stopped. We
Mhm.
revisited, jumped back out there, and this time it hit off. Like we got videos out there with like over 2 million views. Collectively, like it's just a lot that went into that. So had we started the podcast when we was an undergrad and we was together every day, because now we live in different states, we could who knows where we could have been right now. Right now we top 20 in the world in podcast
Mhm.
with only 23 episodes. So we moving and grooving. But I think that in undergrad, a lot of the times people are mimicking others in the sense of like their path and their goals, but everybody's path is going to be different. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's the difference between people that you look up to and people that you're inspired by. So just getting started is the number one thing.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Because right now, that's the market is saturated. I feel like very oversaturated. But I do want to ask you, in the means of just kind of like overall in regards to like impact. Oh Lord, I just lost my question. But just overall, like in regards to you, one going to NCAT, do you feel like that has had like a very great impact on your career and how so?
I do. I will say this. You have to put in the work. The HBCU isn't going to do it for you. Whether you go
Mm-hmm.
to a smaller one, bigger one, larger one, whatever the case may be, that matters to a certain degree. I've used the name of North Carolina A&T to propel my career, the platform, the events, but I've only hosted in undergrad maybe 10 events on campus, maybe, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
strong maybe. A lot of that
Yeah.
came from the connections of being an HBCU student. Like the whole me going to LA and hosting for Magic Johnson and Kevin Hart, that came from going to an HBCU. They saw me. That was like, we need to tell HBCU students about LA Tech Week and what comes with these tech companies and how we can relate this message and make it personable to HBCU students. Let's use somebody's face and influence. They used me
Mm-hmm.
and picked me up for that. That was after I graduated, way after I had finished college. You know what I'm saying? So we're finished. And I think that sometimes people rely on the HBCU to just use the name and do the work for them, and that's not really what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's kind of what I would say about using the A&T's name to get to where I am. It definitely helped out a lot. It did.
Yeah, yeah. So overall, I feel like we've mentioned a lot about like you connecting with people, you meeting people, being put in great position. You know what I'm saying? So, how important is your network?
It's important because like a lot of places I've gotten are just strength, all the strength of relationships. The whole Soldier Boy being his tour host. My manager is his manager. So, but I met my manager at the radio station, which I had
Mm-hmm.
relations with because I was the intern that was just ODing. And
Mm-hmm.
I had worked at 2 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the morning. I was doing that over and over again. And one night he was in the city. And my boss calls me and says, "Hey, I need you to pull up to the station and meet this guy." Didn't know nothing about him, didn't know his background, didn't know anything. Just pulled up. Just literally just pulled up. And he chopped it up with me. We talked. Nothing really happened that night. And maybe for almost a year, we was just back and forth with communication, but nothing physically happened. Um, Going back, this is in maybe like 2019. Fast forward to 2023, we actually locked down a management deal. So I had known him for
Mm-hmm.
like 3 years, and we had just been doing like little side things for each other, nothing major. And then that happened, and then that led me to being on a tour. Um, just knowing people at these HBCU pages, I'm not gonna lie to you, like the platforms of the HBCU pages have been my biggest help in my career. Just being able to line me up in the right places at the right time. I've gotten so many opportunities from all of them. Like I just love them so much, and they've put me in the front. As far as like not even just having the title, but maintaining it, holding it, and pushing it to another level of why I became the number one HBCU host and just being able to do it. So it's been amazing, man. Like I really do think that your network is more important than anything, than any monetary value.
Most deaf. So, what's next?
So right now I'm working on a partnership with Twisted Up Life, which is a brand talking about just being high energy and being influencer and Generation Z. So that's something that I just recently worked on. They'll be kind of helping me out with some of my events. The CDK Cares Foundation is going to be my foundation that's going to go under my scholarship horizon HBCU students, as well as community initiatives. I have a vision board party coming up at Southeast Raleigh High School, where I graduated from in 2017, to give back to my alma mater, in the sense of just giving a clear vision of what these young folks want to do with their lives in the next 5, 10, or by the end of 2024 goals. And I also have a couple of that I have coming up that's really big. That how that goes. You can't put too many things on the table, but really the CDK Cares Foundation is what we're focused on in 2024. These concerts, tours, and celebrity events.
Okay, that's on period. I love it. Love it down. 2024 sounds like it's about to be amazing. So
movie.
How can we stay connected? What's the handles? How can we follow? How can we support?
I need y'all to hit me on YouTube first, because I need to get my YouTube numbers up. CDK on the mic, that's YouTube. CDK and Horatio, that's also our podcast YouTube page. You can also follow that on Instagram. Great content. I need y'all to go ahead and tap into those episodes. We're trying to get the episode 400 sooner rather than later. I need you to follow me on Instagram at CDK on the mic. I have exclusive opportunities for HBCU students all the time. I'm passionate, throwing the oop. All you got to do is be prepared, have your headshots together, your resume, your one sheet, all of these things. Make sure you got your EPK together, man. You got your ducks in a row. CDK on the mic, gonna make sure you straight.
I know that's right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was great having you. Definitely gonna have to talk to you after this. But I hope you have a good one. Hopefully Carolina is not, going crazy too bad with the cold.
Thank you so much for having me up here, man. Shout out to HBCU.
Like what you hear?
Yeah.
Subscribe to HBCU Pulse Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify,